Hey YouTube, so today we're going to do a power steering pump on a Power Stroke V8 turbo diesel. This is a Ford, and of course right now you can't see the power steering pump because it's located down there up under this intake. So I'm going to have to pause and remove stuff so that you can clearly see what's going on. But the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to remove this intake system here so that we can get down in there and we can get better access to the pump. Because right now you can't even get your hands down in there. Alright, but one of the first steps you're going to do is disconnect this right here. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Go ahead and get your wiring connections out of the way. Like I said, we will be removing this, so you'll go ahead and take that on off. Like that wiring connector there as well too. So we'll get that off the way so we can get a better view, and then we'll come back and finish up. Okay, as you see, now that we have that loose, that's going to give you a little more extra space in there. But another little trick that will give you even more space in here, as you can see, is if we remove these bolts here, here, and here, as well as here and here, we can pull this face, we can pull this front support forward, which will actually give you some more room there. You'll also need to pull that out to get this out of the way, because if you don't, that's kind of pinched in there. So you'll take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 off, and then that will allow you to pull that forward. And now at this point you won't have to take any of that stuff loose because it's all attached. Now it is heavy. As you can see, I can pull that whole thing forward. All right, and then let's remove this. And we can pull this one forward. Let me get a stronger gun and I'll get that out. Now to get that out, you will need to lift that up because there is like a little placement stud up under there. So you have to lift this up and then pull forward. Then that'll give you enough space where you can work this pipe out. I'm gonna need 2 hands, it's a little dirty. Or you can work that pipe out. And as you see, we have a lot more space now. We'll come on this side, we'll pull this side forward too. And as you see, that's giving you a lot more space to get your hand in and deal with down there. So let's get that pipe out and then we'll get back to the pump. So, next step that you want to do is you want to take out the screws of the fan shroud. There's going to be one here. I went ahead and took them out because, you know, it's kind of hard to film and undo that stuff, but I know you don't want to hear the noise. So anyway, I went ahead and pulled this up because there's one right here. There's a bolt hole right here you need to get loose. That one there. There's 2 there. You'll unplug this connector here, take the vacuum hose loose. Just sit those hoses off to the side, pull those up. All right. And as you see, there's one over here on this side. Take that loose. You disconnect the power steering reservoir screws. And this particular vehicle didn't have one, but as you can see, there's a screw hole there too. So you'll lift that shroud up and take it up out of the way. All right. When you do that, look at there. The pump is right there behind the fan blade. So now we can have access. Now that we have that off, we have access to these screws here. And this is one of the weirdest designs ever. I hate the way Ford did this, but there's a bolt down in there, and then there's a bolt down in there. Take that loose, and you can get the rest of this fan shroud off. But actually, you might not need to take that thing off. Actually, you can leave that on there unless you just want it out of your way. But what you'll need to do next is take the fan blade off. Okay, reach down there and take that off. And what that's going to do is give you clearance so that you can get this power steering pump out. And you also have a better view. Now to get that fan clutch off, just use a fan clutch wrench, stick it down there, and it turns that way. Okay, it's a left-handed thread. All right, turn it that way. Put that on there, boom, boom, boom. Now, don't take the belt off until you get the clutch off. If it doesn't want to come off, let me show you a little trick. This makes it easy. Now, I've got some tools that will take that off real easy, like air tools and stuff. But if you don't have air tools, and you know, here's what you can do. You can take this wrench. I don't know if this is the right size or not. Stick it down on there. And take a hammer and then tap, 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 and then that'll take that off. I'm gonna pause this right quick and take that off because I can't really film and talk about that at the same token. So we'll get that off, then we'll come back and we'll finish up this power steering pump. All right, now that we have the now that we have the fan shroud off, you can see the pump is right here. And this particular pump only has 3 bolts that hold it on. Now the key to this, the trick to this, is getting that hose off, and then there's a hose connection at the bottom of the pump. Now, you can, from this point, do one of 2 things. You can either take this fan off, all right, if you've got the tool to get the fan clutch off. I have one, but I know a lot of people don't have that particular tool, so I'm going to show you a quick, easy way to do it. Now you'll notice down here that I've marked this with a white paint, and the reason for that is what we're going to do is we're going to take off the fan blade. We're going to leave the fan clutch there and take the fan blade off, and when we do that, that'll give us plenty of clearance to get into the fan clutch. These are 10mm bolts that I use to keep the fan on. Alright, so these bolts are 10mm here. Take these off, and then the fan, it will come on off and give us more space to get into that power steering pump. Again, I marked that with a white line so that when I put this back together, it'll all line up. And you'll notice on the fan there's a couple of spaces where it's a lot wider than the other. That gives us just enough room that we can position it down